By the name of Allah, who is kind and merciful, welcome to the SCA. Today in this lecture we are going to discuss eutrophication, which is an important topic of environmental science as well as a heart-burning issue of the modern world. Before going to the lecture, please subscribe the channel, press the bell icon so that you may get the notification at the earlier. So now let's start the lecture. Eutrophication. First we defined eutrophication. So the definition is eutrophication is defined as an increase in the rate of organic matter in a water body which disturbs the quality of water and gradually decrease the water holding capacity of water bodies. In this process, water acquires a high concentration of nutrients, especially phosphates and nitrates. These nutrients promote the growth of algae. Upon death and decomposition of algae, the level of organic matter rapidly increases, which ultimately decreases the amount of oxygen and results in the death of aquatic animals. Basically, eutrophication is a process which disturbs the water quality of a water body, decrease the water holding capacity of a water body, as well as finally diminish the whole water body. So now let's move forward and explain or go to the explanation of eutrophication. So eutrophication is a natural slow aging process for a water body, but human activities greatly speed up this process. Basically, eutrophication is a natural process. It is a slow process in which spans for about 100 years, but with the modernization of the world and with the increase in human activities, with the increased use of fertilizers and various agricultural tools, the nutrient supply uh, becomes higher to the water bodies, which increases the process of eutrophication at a faster rate. It is a global environmental issue because it results in large algal population which adversely affect aquatic life, human and animal health. It is an issue of global concern nowadays because the water it causes water scarcity as well as disturb water quality and treat the life of aquatic animals, especially the life of fish is endangered. The main causes are human activities in the form of agriculture and sewage effluents resulting in high amount of nutrients. Human activities produces nutrients in the form of agriculture and other sewage processes supply nutrients to the water bodies. Algae, plankton and other microorganisms use these nutrients, thus affecting the quality of water and decrease the supply of oxygen to aquatic animals like fish. Algae, these are biological organisms. Plankton or the plants, these are the small plants which live and flourish in water, and sorrows as a source of oxygen suppliers to the aquatic animals. So with the process of eutrophication, the supply of oxygen to the aquatic animal decreases. Now we are going to discuss trophic status of a water body. So first we define water trophic status. The status which shows the extent of eutrophication process of a water body is known as trophic status of a water body. There are three terms used to describe the trophic status of a water body. This is a stage, trophic status is a stage which show the extent or the level of eutrophication, that at which level the eutrophication is present in a water body. So the three terms which are used for the trophic status is, first one is oligotrophic. Oligotrophic refers to when level of nutrients is low and production of algae and other microorganisms is negligible. The status is referred to as oligotrophic. At this status or at this stage, the supply of nutrients is low and the population of algae and other microorganisms is also low or negligible. So this status or stage is called oligotrophic status. The second is mesotrophic, when level of nutrients is intermediate and growth of algal mass is in progress, is known as mesotrophic. When sufficient or intermediate amounts of nutrients are available and growth of algae and other microorganisms started and in progress. So this level or this status or this stage is known as mesotrophic. The third one is eutrophic. It is the higher status or the higher state of eutrophication, when level of nutrient is high and algal bloom are present in large amount and water quality is highly affected, is referred to as eutrophic. When the supply of nutrients is very high, when the supply of nutrients is very high and algal blooms are formed. Algal blooms refer to a huge mass of algae, a huge population of algae. So these are called algal bloom. So these are the three stages of eutrophication, or the three status of a water body. You understand the algal bloom. Algal bloom refers to a huge mass of algae in which a large population of algae is present. Now let's move forward. Steps of eutrophication. So the process of eutrophication is completed in 5 steps. It is a slow process and takes a long time. So there are 5 steps in which eutrophication is completed. The first step is nutrient load up. In this step, excessive nutrients are drained by the rainwater into the water bodies. The nutrients and the palm of fertilizers in the fields used by the farmers and other nutrients expelled from the household are drained by the rainwater to the main water bodies. The second step is plant flourish. The nutrients cause aquatic plant and algal growth. When aquatic plant and algae receive a huge amount of nutrients, their growth rapidly increases. The third step is algal bloom and oxygen depletion. Algal bloom prevent sunlight, resulting in plant death and oxygen depletion. Algal bloom, as I have already discussed, is a huge mass of algae. When it is spawned, it do not allow the sunlight to pass through it, and the plankton or the plants living in water they do not receive a sufficient amount of light. As a result, the photosynthesis stops and oxygen, the amount of oxygen decreases. The fourth step is decomposition, further depletes oxygen. Dead plants are decomposed by bacteria in the presence of available oxygen, which further decrease oxygen. When plants dead in the absence of oxygen due to the not allowance of sunlight while algae bloom. When these plants die, uh, the decomposition process initiates an H and the bacteria decompose these plants in the presence of oxygen. So, with the decomposition process, the available supply of oxygen further decreases. And the fifth step is the death of the ecosystem. Fish and other animals die in the absence of oxygen, resulting in the death of the ecosystem. So, it is the final stage. In this stage, the whole ecosystem become diminished due to the diminution of oxygen. So these are the five steps which uh, completes the eutrophication process. Now let's move forward. This is what advantages of eutrophication, or what are the adverse effects of eutrophication. So the first adverse effect of eutrophication is toxic and inedible phytoplankton species. The eutrophication produces toxic plants which are harmful to health and inedible phytoplankton species. These are the plants, these are the aquatic plants which cannot be used by human beings for any type of purpose. The second adverse effect of eutrophication is fish death. Eutrophication cause fish death and eliminate the fish population from water. The third major effect is decrease in water availability and quality. As I have already earlier mentioned, that eutrophication diminishes the water holding capacity and finally the whole water body. So the quality and availability of water is largely decreased due to the process of eutrophication. The fourth major effect is decreased biodiversity. Biodiversity refers to the presence of various living organisms in a specified areas, that is animal, plants, algae, fungi, bacteria. These all organisms living in a particular area. So shows biodiversity. So with the process of eutrophication, fishes die, plants die, and various fungi die, so biodiversity also decreases. And the fifth major effect is the increased biomass of algae. So biomass of algae is highly increased, due to which the process of photosynthesis is highly affected. Now let's move forward. Preventive measures are how to tackle this problem. So there are some preventive measures. The first one is limiting the amount of nutrients entering the water bodies. We should check the amount of nutrients, or we should look into the process of application of various nutrients in the agricultural sector. Second is the removal of algal blooms and higher plants. When huge amount of algae are present or higher plants present inside or near a water body, they should be mechanically removed from those sites, so that they may not be able to affect the life of other organisms present in the water bodies. The third is chemical and physical removal of dissolved nutrients from water. Some chemical and physical methods should be employed to remove decrease the amount of dissolved nutrients in water, so they may not be able to enter water bodies. The fourth major preventive measure is the addition of copper sulfate and sodium arsenide. These are the chemical compounds which uh, disturbs the growth of algae and other harmful organisms which play or play a major role in the process of eutrophication. So this is the whole history of the process of eutrophication. So please like the video, subscribe the channel, and press the bell icon. Thank you so much.